Hello everyone, Editing Dylan here once more, just to give a quick little intro to this video, as originally I had recorded this as a two-parter, but instead now I have given each game its own video. This is game number 3 of the square-based comp tournament I played with my Wood Elves up in Exploding Dice Games in Bangor. You can find games 1 and 2 here on my channel as well. They're going to be the first two videos in this playlist. Also, thank you all again so much for checking these videos out. I really hope that you've been enjoying them. I've been really enjoying reading all the comments that you've been leaving, and I hope that you enjoy this upcoming video too. Next up on the channel is going to be a run through and a breakdown of a 1,000 point tournament that I had last weekend, where I was very happy and a fair bit lucky to have come third. So very happy with that, but yeah, definitely some luck involved in it too that you'll see in those videos. Also, as of recording this right now, I am in the middle of preparing a list for a friendly game tomorrow. It's going to be a 2,000 point battle of my Wood Elves versus Bretonians, so hopefully going to be making a video about that as well. So lots of videos coming for this channel, so hit subscribe if you want to be kept up to date. Enjoy this game against Troll Horde, and I will see you next time. And then finally we come to game 3, where I played against Troll Horde. I played against Pete, who was one of the staff members here, who was a super nice guy as well. Everyone was just very nice and welcoming up in the place. And yeah, I've never played Troll Horde or against Troll Horde before. Didn't really know what to expect or what to do with it or what the army does. But like his models as well, also fantastic. I said earlier in my last video that I won the best painted army. Technically, actually, Pete did, and he deserved it way more than I did. But I was his vote for best painted, and so he gave me the trophy. Very generous of him, and I really appreciate that. And yeah, I definitely do not deserve it in comparison to his paint job, though at all. I'll actually leave the old world rankings link down below, and you'll be able to see all of the models and all of the armies and stuff, because there was some really nice hobby on display. Going into what his list was, so obviously as Troll Horde, he had 2,600 points to play with. He had the name character Ogdruz, Swamp Digger, he had a Troll Hag, he had an Orc Warboss on a Wyvern or a Wyvern, with Troll Hide Trousers, of course, to give him that rerollable regen save that you get as Troll Horde, as well as the Armor of Meteoric Iron for a 5+, 5+, 5+. So yeah, that was pretty nasty as well. The Troll Hag had a 5+, 5+, 5+. There's a lot of 5+s in this match. He then had a Goblin level 3 with the Ruby Ring, an Idol of Gork. He had Kicknick Toothsnatcher, the Goblin wolf-mounted hero, and an Orc Big Boss as the Battle Bearer with the glowy green amulet, which is not a nice magic item to go against when you have a lot of magic in your list. He then had 6 river trolls, 6 stone trolls, and 4 common trolls, all with great weapons. 26 orcs with warbows and the Monster Hunter's Tapestry, 24 goblins, and then 5 goblin wolf riders who were ambushers, and then 5 orc boar boys. So yeah, a pretty, I have no idea if this is a standard list, but it was a pretty fun list. Like a lot of cool, again, a lot of cool models, really well painted, and it was just, yeah, there was a fair amount in there. In terms of what my thoughts about a pre-game were, was that my Rangers will chew everything up here. So I had said to myself, be aggressive. Did I do that? No. Have I done that in the last game? No. Do I need to be more aggressive in general in my playing? It would appear so. I was kind of fearful of my BSB into the Troll Hag because of its like nasty attack abilities. But at the same time, I think because a Troll Hag could challenge, I was kind of wary about putting that in. But realistically, this unit of Rangers should be able to take on anything else in his list. I was looking at the River Trolls, thinking I'd take that. They've got 4 wounds apiece, which is pretty nasty, and I thought maybe I put my Dragon into that. The Wild Riders should chew up the Goblins or the Orcs, either for that matter. I was a little bit scared of the orc mobs, to be honest, because they have so much shooting. You know, just have so many shots is a nasty thing to face. As Wood Elves. And also, I couldn't reliably send my dragon in because he couldn't stomp, and there's too many models to shoot. So I wasn't really sure what to do with them, especially given that they were. If I park an eagle in front of them, they'll just shoot the eagle. He also rolled Walk Between Worlds, um, allowing him to just reposition. So, yeah, my pre-thoughts were that Fury of Athel Lauren would be good against the trolls, and to just keep the Forehawk out of range of the bows because that would be nasty. Um, I did again. I've never really played orcs and goblins much, so I didn't know what going green. I mean, I did. I looked it up. I was like, well, I need to avoid that because that would be bad. And then also that Idol of Gork increases his range by 3 inches, which is kind of significant because a lot of his spells were relatively short casting range. I didn't realize trolls were this fast at 6 inches, so I was kind of expecting them to be a bit more aggressive than they were. So my game plan going in was that potentially do a denied flank against his orcs and gobos and just, face them and shoot or and delay the trolls. Put my dragon into his wyvern. I thought that was a good matchup, and that use my eagles to screen the wild riders and give cover from the orc bows because I figured that's probably where they would shoot. In terms of scenario, it was encirclement, which is the one where you're kind of just like offset slightly. 4 strategic objectives and a special feature in the middle. So this is how we looked at deployment before the first turn. I obviously had this side, and my opponent had that side. I decided to. This is kind of perfect place for my scouts. Kind of nowhere else where to go, but the idea being, if he extends out here to try and chase him down, that my wild riders are coming up this way to do it. My wild riders also positioned here so they can either go up, or if he was being aggressive, maybe I could go in here. Realistically, I probably should have shunted my rangers over a little bit more to allow that happen. And this is kind of the only way that this would work for them, which again, I'm just not playing my wild rangers well enough. Blade Riders here, so they can go up and capture this objective, easy peasy. Blade Guard on the hill just to be able to shoot in here. I wasn't expecting him to be so clumped up. I think this is down to my unfamiliarity with Troll Horde and realizing that he needed everyone to be relatively close to the wizards um, to be able to re-roll the stupidity tests and benefit from leadership. So yeah, in hindsight, it makes perfect sense. But I was, he could have gone to about here, if not maybe even here. So I was kind of surprised to see him so castled up. The Wyvern back here, for example, and then he had the Boar Boys in here ready to go up here in a very kind of similar fashion to here. But to be honest, um, this is a better angle for him. And were I to do this again right now, what I would change is I would probably move my Wild Riders to be positioned like this to do the same and kind of match those charges, especially with them being fast cavalry. I can get my quick turn. Obviously, standard eagle placements and standard dragon placement, just kind of being here, being wanting to know where he would go with his wyvern. Unfortunately, I rolled the first turn, or rather, Pete rolled won the roll off and chose me to have the first turn, which meant that there's obviously a big advantage with the special feature because that's who controls it at the end of the game, which is kind of a shitty rule, to be honest. I would prefer if it was just kind of like, I think it's King of the Hill that gives you points every turn. I feel that would actually promote fighting in the center. As it stands, we kind of just fought around the edges and then he swooped in at the last minute, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. So My first turn, nothing much to write home about. This is a mistake. My dragon being positioned like this, I don't know what I was doing. I straight up, this was a mistake. Maybe I was tired. It was a long day. I'm not used to playing, 6 hours of Warhammer, 7 hours of Warhammer a day. Um, but knowing that his wyvern was here, and who's going to go to about here, why on earth would I not cover the charge angle, right? Like that's just bad of me. Had I been here, there's nowhere he could have gone that I wouldn't have been able to charge him. So don't know. That was just bad on my behalf. Move up with my Rangers, which is fine. Should have been more aggressive with them. That'll be a theme. Um, Eagles, to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing with the Eagles. I think I just prefer going second as Wood Elves. I think it's a better option to go second as Wood Elves, um, because you need to be able to react. Unless there are targets that you really, really, really need to shoot off the board at first, I don't know that there's much benefit from going first, especially because you bring your own wood, your own forest. You can always just kind of hide behind that as needed if you are afraid of enemy shooting. So yeah, um, not a whole lot to write home with. My poison Deepwood Scouts start shooting into his river trolls here, but yeah, nothing. Or maybe they're the cave trolls. I keep forgetting which. But yeah, nothing fancy here. Going into his turn one again, this wyvern moved down here, which is obvious, and I'm an idiot for not having this. Already made that point. Won't belabor it too much, but yeah, um, moves around with the boar boys, moves up the wyvern. Everything kind of shuffles forward a little bit here. I believe he actually casts Walk Between Worlds to reposition the orcs. No, that looks like he just moved. Um, he just moves up here to get ready to shoot. Starts aggressively putting his trolls forward, which I was more than happy about. Pretty standard stuff. I continue just up with my Wild Riders, keeping them screened because I didn't want to just get caught out. Ideally, I'm looking for like a charge into these trolls here and an overrun into the orcs to avoid a stand and shoot. That would be my ideal scenario. Glade Riders just move up and combined with the Deepwood Scouts get a model off the trolls here, which I was very happy with. Wild Riders up again, not particularly as aggressive as I'd like. I waste a turn with my dragon just repositioning into a place where I should have known to put him again. And Warhawk goes up just to be able to be in range of all of to dispel and to start getting magic missiles in. Going on to his next turn, he moves his trolls out here, which is good because it avoids that overrun. It makes it so that I don't have the angle to get in here. He shuffles. He either shuffled or walked between worlds to reposition here. I believe he walked between worlds because you'll see in a second he did a lot of damage onto the Wild Riders with his shooting. The Wyvern sets up for a flank charge into the Glade Guard, which makes sense. Four boys just move down a little bit, and then everything else moves forward. Pretty standard, pretty solid battle plan. Makes sense. The only obviously thing is that the ambushers came on. I was not expecting them, or well, I was hoping they wouldn't come on so early. I wasn't super worried, but it did kind of force me to address it, which you'll see in a second. Yeah, as you can see here, he took out 3 models of the Wild Riders with his shooting, which is nasty. It very much hinders their ability in combat. Um, Again, I'm just being too. I think if I'm being this cautious with them, I gotta just hide them in the forest. At least give them the -1. Ideally, don't let them shoot me at all, and just be ready to pop out when needed. But yeah, I could have just move back. But hey, it is what it is. My turn then, I reform my Glade Guard over here just to take some shots against the Wyvern. Pull back with the Warhawk, kind of anticipating these guys coming in and also trying to get out of an overrun here. Because I probably should have just done something like pull to here, so that I could still be within distance of the woods from my broken stave, be way more away from a potential charge onto them, or from the wyvern, and still be useful here. As you can see, I just straight up don't move my rangers. I got way too focused on the fact that my BSB, wherever he is in here somewhere, has the Eternal Kindred, which means he gives rerolls to hit and wound when he's beside a special feature. And I should have seen how cagey he was being about it. And I also knew from the get-go, from my pre-thoughts, that this unit could and should have won me the game, and I did nothing with it. I did, however, shuffle these guys around, unleash a volley in here. I believe I actually probably moved my Warhawk out of the way of potential charge, but I should have known that I would be okay just shooting him down. It's either a mixture of shooting and magic missiles. Can't remember, to be honest, but yeah. Those ambushers, not a threat in the end. So yeah, as you can see, my Glade Guard are no more. They got charged by the Boar Boys and the Trolls, and the Wyvern just flew over here, which doesn't make sense. Actually, I think it's more likely that he went into the Glade Guard and just... Yeah, because if he went like this, then he would overrun that way. Yeah, just about managed to not clip into my Forehawk, which is great. Obviously wipe out the Glade Guard, to be expected. He gets another wound off of my Wild Riders, and because I was too passive with the Rangers here, this basically allows him to reform into a nice fighting block, which kind of hinders my charge efforts here. Had these guys been up here, he would have been forced to deal with this and given me that charge as necessary. Or if he gone to here, I'd be able to get in either to the flank or something. He moves up again here, and I just kind of get ready to start doing my dancey dance with my Deepwood Scouts as usual. I believe I then just shoot away his character down here in a second. And then he kind of prepared the troll hag to kind of get in here, which makes sense, or potentially maybe even into where the BSB is, where I don't want her in. So for my turn, I decide that I will charge the Boar Boys with the dragon. The idea being, if I beat them, I'm not going to pursue because one, I have my Forehawk here, who will cause some peril tests, probably lose another couple of wounds, and that's kind of them out of the fight. And I could then reform to kind of cover, you know, this kind of angle, really kind of just trying to hunt down that wyvern before it starts going, picking up other things. I really, really, really tried to make something work with this vortex spell, and I just couldn't. Cast it a couple of times, and it never moved once. It like moved like an inch either way. It did obviously keep these guys from moving, which is good. These guys obviously very far away from anywhere to give them rerolls on stupidity, but still managed to keep passing them. He passed all stupidity tests until like late in the game. You can see here I've moved my Deepwood Scouts away, and my Blade Riders just here maintaining this point and pressuring in here. I'm finally do something somewhat useful with my Rangers and position to accept either charge. And the big upset from this turn was that I charged in here with my Wild Riders, and these guys fled. And I didn't know that was an option. Obviously, I know you can flee, but I assumed for some reason that trolls were immune to psychology and therefore couldn't flee. But that was not the case. Luckily, I rolled enough to avoid his charge arc here, which would have been a nightmare. But yeah, I was not expecting that, and that really threw me. This is the last photo I have of the match, but basically what happened was he ignores my scouts, also accepting that he's not going to be able to catch them, goes to score this objective, which makes sense. He at the end was succumbed to stupidity, so couldn't capture it in the end, which is useful. He goes forward with his wyvern to start threatening my Glade Riders, who just start dancing around. They'd gotten shot up by the Orc boys, so I wanted to just stay out of line of sight. Troll Hag went in. We got into a challenge, and I eventually took the Troll Hag down. The Giant Blade with multiple wounds, kind of doing a lot of work there, which was nice. And then in more stupid luck, he moved down with his goblins here in a pretty good gambit, basically trusting in his combat res to ensure that he wouldn't lose, or if he did, he maybe just gives ground, because that would open up for a rear charge from these trolls, who instead failed their stupidity test, which meant that I kept these alive. We were running out of time, so we basically just said, look, we'll determine what happens. Effectively, the wyvern stays alive. These guys are kept out of the game because of my vortex here. The Wild Riders chomp down these goblins because, yeah, even without Furious Charge, they're still gonna cut them down, no problem. Especially if I got a charge in here or here. But the biggest upset was he ended up casting Walk Between Worlds with his big block on the last turn, placing him right beside the special feature. He outnumbered me on unit strength, and so won the points for it at the end for controlling it at the end of the game. He didn't really get many points from me at all. He pretty much only got my Eagles and the Glade Guard, and I didn't get much from him either. I got the Boar Boys, who were chased down by the Warhawk in the end, who's just off screen here. I got his ambushers that were here and the character in there, and I got the Troll Hag. So it was a very low scoring event. Him getting the special feature is what brought us up into a draw. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Excuse how sweaty I am. We are in the middle of such a big heat wave, which I don't know when this video is going to go out, but hey, remember that heat wave from like a couple of weeks ago? It was rough. So yeah, I am struggling right now. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this interesting, insightful. If you have any thoughts, ideas on how I played, have you made similar mistakes? Is there any mistakes here that I've made that makes you realize what you've done or what I could do better, what you could do better? How do I make my Wild Riders work for me, because they have not done enough for me in this match. I'm bringing them again to a tournament that I'm about to play tomorrow, which at 1,000 points, which I'll hopefully be making more videos like this on. And yeah, again, if you're interested in TTRPG content or LARP content, you go check out the videos I make with my friend Jim over the Hearthfire Media channel. We also have a podcast called Hearthfire Tales, where it's mainly an audio only podcast. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube Music, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff. I'll put a link down to all my projects down below. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I don't expect these videos to do that well. I'm just doing them because I want to do post-mortem analysis on my games anyway, and why not video them and put them up? Maybe other people can learn. As I said in my last video, I've been really consumed by Warhammer over the past year, and in the absence of having my own standard play group that I can kind of commit to on a regular basis, I am choosing to join the online community and kind of share my experiences, share my stories with you all. And yeah, any comments, likes of the video are greatly appreciated. And until then, have a great time. Go on, good luck, goodbye, cheers now, see you, bye, bye, go on, see you, bye, no, go on, bye, 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 bye.